Hey GreatDrams, Greg here from GreatDrams.com, going through a 3 whiskey flight today. It's going to start with Compass Box's Glasgow blend, which has a slightly smoky influence, which is why it's our starter dram. Then the Longrow limited edition 18-year-old, which is peated, not necessarily to the max, but pretty peated. And then finishing off with cask strength Peat's Beast, described as an intensely peated single malt Scotch whisky at a whopping 52.1% ABV. So, starting with the Great King Street Glasgow blend from Compass Box, some of the most innovative products in whisky in the last few years, and brand specifically, and their use of grain whisky to come out of Scotch has come from Compass Box, so always fascinated by any of their releases. On the nose, that's cool. You have a lot of freshness, a lot of fresh grass, some malty notes or grainy notes. But having previously read their website about this product, just to have a quick idea of what I'm talking about. Believe me, I don't do that always, but this time I thought I would have a quick butcher's, especially as they're so keen for transparency and getting across exactly what has gone into their blends. And legally they're not allowed to do that on pack or on bottle, but they can do it on their website. So always check out their products online once you buy them or before you buy them for a bit more of an understanding about how the blending process works. So getting that freshness, as I said, that grainy malty note, a lot of kind of light summery fruits, but also that waft of smoke from what I know to be a Lefroy cask. So there's a Lefroy influence here amongst various others, which I won't go into now. Definitely check it out on their website. It's beautiful, like really sweet, fruity Lefroy, stunning. That smokiness kind of dissipates a little bit on the palate, but then lingers on the tongue afterwards, and you're getting just really sweet, smooth, caramelly notes coming through. Bit of the kind of quintessential anesthetic TCP style note, but not in any way much or enough to say call it a peated whiskey. Lots of toffee. Just an all-round smooth whiskey, actually. Really enjoyable, probably highly drinkable. Moving on to the Longrow 18, limited edition. I believe it's from last year, from the guys at Cadenheads, who also own Springbank, Longrow, Glengyle, various other brands that you probably know of within the industry as well. Longrow's been a bit of a new passion for me in the whisky industry, having visited Campbelltown, where it's produced last year, and buying a load of single cask one-of-one bottlings from their they're affectionately called a cage, which has just random bottles that either they find around or they take from casks in their warehouses and just kind of put in there for very reasonable amounts of money. And so this one, Longrow 18, bought at Milroy's of Soho back in October or something. And let's see how we get on. So on the nose, it's actually quite strange. You're getting that, and no one likes saying this or hearing this, but that kind of baby sick note that you get with some whiskies. That sulphury note, but it does go away. It's only there very, very, very swiftly at the beginning. That sulphur note is at the back. But you're getting that deeper, darker fruit, but you have this all the while growing feeling that there's a lot of power behind this, a lot of peat power behind this. Surprisingly fresh and upbeat actually for a Longrow release. But that lovely underlying calm before the storm, smoky, peaty note is superb. On the palate, it's really gentle actually. Kind of wine notes, red wine notes coming through there, grapes, probably obviously related to the wine. They're really kind of gentle and no smoke or peat at all. Really interesting stuff. Not a lot to say about the palate actually. There's fruits, juicy wine notes. They're not even that much fruit. It's just nice, subtle, calm, a bit more chilled out than I was expecting, if I'm honest. On the second sip, wafts of smoke are going around the side of my mouth, and more kind of dark red juicy fruits kind of coming through, like cherries and prunes and whatnot, plums even. Really good sipping whiskey. Right, shall we see what's probably going to be the main event? Cask strength Peat's Beast. Now they've got an interesting passage on the back of their label here. Peat's Beast isn't for the faint-hearted, full-bodied, rich and intense. This single malt whiskey is monstrously peaty, yet seriously flavoursome. To tame the beast, we recommend a dash of water. Now, I'm all for adding water to whiskey when we try it. But on a swift tasting like this, where I'm not spending huge amounts of time on it, we're just going to dive straight in and see what the hell happens. Wow. So there's definitely some level of either youth or virgin oak, or it's very young wood in there. Or if not, it's doing a very good impression of it, because there's a huge amount of fresh oak influence on the nose initially, which is followed up by toffee, maybe hints of caramel, like a crunchy honeycomb. Now the peat isn't quite there yet. I have a feeling I'm about to be slapped around the face when I try this one. Wow, as soon as you get it onto your tongue, that peat just explodes. It kind of consumes your mouth really, really well. It's now coated absolutely every single flavour receptor I have, and probably parts of my tongue I don't even know what the hell they do. But it's still got a nice underlying sweetness, and there is a lot of depth to this whiskey, more than just having a blast of something powerful and moving on. There's definitely oak influence, a lot of vanilla going on, that underlying sweetness I mentioned, and that honeycomb from the nose definitely carrying through. Now I'm going back to the nose, I'm starting to get wisps of that peat that definitely wasn't there at the beginning. Very calming on the second sip at least. Soft yet powerful is how I'd describe this. It's obviously a beast, and it's made my head very, very warm, but at the same time it's not something that you can't overcome. Especially myself, I'm a peat head, I'm a huge fan of Lafroig, Ardbeg, all of those kind of whiskies, and so this is a natural kind of extension or kind of tangent to that, and think it's absolutely superb. Nicely done. Cheers, GreatDrams. See you again soon.